Hey guys, my name is Bando, this is Brexit Bando. We've got a couple of things to go through today, so let's take a look at them. So first up we have got the First Company Veterans. Don't normally talk about Primaris stuff, but I thought I'd go through it because the Terminators are a little appropriate for Heresy. So, we've got these brand new Stern Guard models, which... yeah, I mean, they're a slow improvement over the standard Primaris Intercessor. I still don't like Mark 10 Marines. I still don't like things like the surcoat going under the chest plate. I still don't like the knee pad design, the gorget design. And oh look, we finally put some Mark 6 and Mark 7 helmets in there because we're so, great overlords. They're mediocre models at best. Very little about them is transferable to the Heresy. Get some like a nice power fist, and that's really about it. There's there's a couple of like bionic arms and stuff in there, and yeah, not really much that you can use for kit bashing with these. So it's a bit annoying, bit disappointing. If you're a Primaris player, I'm sure these will be great. They'll probably mix really well with things like the Black Templars models. But to me, as a 30k player, this is just nothing. This is not interesting at all. Like I said, the Power Fist is probably the only bit, apart from maybe some of the heads, that bionic arm, and maybe the back banner that's in there that I'm kind of interested in. So less than £5 worth of stuff on here would be interesting to me. Then we got Terminators. We have multi-part Terminators. I'm not a fan of how they've cut the sprues and cut the models, but it is what it is. It looks like Power Fists and Chain Fists now are the same items. You don't get the extra arm. It's just one arm with a different back to it, which is a bit annoying. It's what they called. They call it model chassis, and it's basically torsos and legs are one piece again. Oh, you can equip all your Terminators with Chain Fists right out the box. Well, that's nice. So glad. Nice to see the Targeter return on the old Power Fist for the Cyclone missile launcher. Yeah, okay. The only thing I see here that's interesting is that all the shoulder pads and the special weapons heads and stuff, the Gumph sprue as it is one separate sprue, which makes me think that the so-called, well, the rumour we have of Deathwing is going to be these two sprues, just the main bodies and the legs, and then this will be different. It'll have its own head, shoulder pad, and special weapons sprue. So you'll probably get a plasma blast cannon and whatever it is in there, maybe an extra sword, some interesting heads like the cloaked heads, and then all the Deathwing shoulder pads, and that'll be about it really. And then you probably get a Blood Angels one, and then a Space Wolves one as well. That is if they don't do a whole different kit. So that we wait to see, but that's what I would assume they would do. Next up, well, we've got this. A new miniatures carry case from Games Workshop, which is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's pegs, and the models just kind of sit between them. It reminds me of Magpul's new style of carry case for a gear, but theirs is considerably better than this. This just looks like it's going to end up with broken models. Yeah, I'm not a fan, and I tell you what, this is probably going to cost a fortune as well. If you are looking for a figure carrying case, honestly, I cannot recommend anyone higher than KR Case. KR Case is absolutely fantastic for what they are. I have several, and they're really good at what they are. And they're cheap, about 25, 26 quid. You get 3 or 4 layers of foam in them, and then all their foam fits inside all of their cases in different ways. You can get foam pre-cut for different stuff if you play different games. You know, if you play like Star Wars, Armada or X-Wing, they'll have it pre-cut for the actual shapes. Same for like bigger kits, like say you've got loads of Falcon Grav tanks, you can get kits from them which the foam is pre-cut to fit a Falcon Grav tank. You know, KR Case, just Google them, they're fantastic. Right, so this is the other one I wanted to touch on, the Warhammer Design Team interview, how the new Space Marines came to life. And this whole article is just so milquetoast. And you can tell these guys are really kind of junior, almost. About the way they talk about things. There's one line in here that really kind of... They probably thought it sounded really cool, and it's actually not. I think it's... Where is it? Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, here we go. So, yes, we want to have we want the miniatures to age stylistically, so making sure that Space Marines in particular are future-proof informs a lot of the design decisions. We need to make it so make it also means that they're good foundation for redacted. Oh yeah, okay. Obviously they mean a future release, which is probably going to be the Dark Angels they're talking about. And they have a line in here as well where they're like, oh, Jess Goodwin showed us how this trick where you can rotate a model to see it from different directions. Yes, congratulations, you have 3D CAD models. That's one of the single most basic features of 3D modelling, is the ability to rotate your camera and or object. That's not something to be bragging about in an article from your designers. You know, talk about how you have the opportunity now to try out different things where you couldn't with traditional media, how you can undo mistakes, how you can have an asset library so you can speed up your production. If they were a bit more forthcoming with this, I'd be so much happier. But it really feels like they're trying to kind of keep it mystified. I remember going to Salute a couple of years in London. Salute is the South London Wargamers show. It's one of the biggest shows in the UK. And Warlord Games were there, and they had one of their sculptors, who I believe is a Polish guy, so I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. But he's very talented. And he was sculpting, I believe at the time, it was the British plastic airborne. And he was just showing you how he did it. He was doing it there in the show. And he just showed people how he was, you know, creating the details. He was showing people how he could pull different bits from different models and, oh, do these sets of arms work with this body? He had a huge crowd of people watching him. And it really helped people understand what was going on in the design studio. He also incidentally told me that the thing that takes the absolute longest out of any miniature production stage nowadays is the creation of the box. Because you have to get the box art done, you have to get the box art approved, you have to get the box art sent to a printer, the printer has to go, this is how it's going to lay out, you have to approve the layout, you have to get the test ones back, you have to make sure everything folds together correctly, that it's the right weight of cardboard. And he said it just goes on and on. Like, miniatures take about 10 minutes, boxes take 6 months, which was just mad. Yeah, I don't know, this whole article just... it seems like Games Workshop Studio is just being manned by really junior people. Like, these don't read like... You used to get articles like this in White Dwarf, and you'd have sculptors like the Perry twins talking about what they were doing and how they did it, and you'd see the pictures of the 3-up sculpts, and you could see that actually this guy's, you know, rapier was made from a pin that had been flattened down and sharpened, and, you know, they talked about how they have to use different materials for different things and how long it takes. And this is just marketing gumph. This is absolutely, it's the same things over and over again, and none of it is actual kind of... None of this is extra information you couldn't pick up from just looking at the models for about 10 minutes. 5 minutes, if that. You literally look at the models and go, okay, I get it, yeah. And then you read through this and you go, the guys wearing a cloak, I get it. It's just really quite sad. It's just, supposed to be the industry leaders, right? I'm going to be a bit more positive now. This piece of artwork is fantastic. This character looks menacing and awesome. These things look fantastic, and I hope they're super poseable because they look really cool. I don't think they are because they seem to have the same leg pose. But plastic mech walker things look really cool. The artwork for this character looks fantastic. The actual model, not so much. If she'd been stood in that very static, menacing pose, she's the commander, she's the leader, I would have much preferred it. This just is a bit busy. It's kind of difficult to actually see what's going on with a lot of the model. This thing, whatever the fuck it is, looks really cool. I don't like that it's got a squat helmet in its claw, as I've just started a squat gang. But the sculpt's good. They look like resin models. I think this is all existing terrain, just reboxed. Yeah. But it does talk about getting extra vehicles for different gangs, which is pretty cool. These are really, really cool. I like these. So yeah, this is a good article. Glad to see Necromunda's still getting support. Love to see it. And then lastly, this article is an absolute banger. Corrupted Knights, and they're all done by Frank something or other. Where's his surname? Doesn't say. Frank from the Warhammer Community Social Team. Okay, don't want to pinch your staff. This is a really cool article because it harkens back to that classic White Dwarf showcase where you'd see, like, not the studio painters almost. You know, you'd see real armies created by real people that weren't always painted to the highest degree. Not saying that these aren't really well painted. And it's clear this guy's got some real passion for his knights and the conversions, the decal work. This thing's just madness. That's just utter madness and really cool. I can imagine being on the walls of the palace and seeing something like that and being like, oh, that's just a bit weird. And then it's probably like vaporized something in front of us. That's cool. Yeah, no, I really like these. These are like, that's just batty. How Iron Warriors is that? That's madness. I love this knight. I really want a Porphyron. I desperately want this in plastic. It's one of my favourite looking units in Warhammer, and I'm never going to be able to get one if it's in resin for that money. So this article's great. I love this article. I wish we got more of this. This should be almost a daily thing on Warcom, because you've got infinite amounts of people who play the game that are really amazing at painting. Just get some good photos, send them an email with some questions, and the article has written itself. It wouldn't be hard to get these pumped out daily. So yeah, that's it. Mediocre Space Marines. A laughable carry case. Look at it. It looks like it's just the cheapest plastic. More marketing gump from the design studio. Fantastic plastic stuff for Necromunda and a new book. And Knights. That's it. That's today in Warcom, I suppose, or this last couple of days. Let me know what you think. What are you happy for? Have you read these articles? Do you think any of these are interesting? Tell me I'm wrong. You know, I always like it when you guys tell me I'm wrong. So yeah, just pop a comment down there. Don't forget to use the Element Game code. I found out that if you're not in the UK, you can still order from there. They do say on their website which countries they're allowed to ship to. So feel free, if you're from abroad, to use that code as well, as you'll just get extra money towards your next order, which is, free money's always great. As always, guys, leave a comment, pop a like, do whatever you want to do. I will see you around. My name is Bando, And this is Brexit Bando. Peace out.